Hello, let me go over the solution for chi-square homework. In this homework, I give you option to do by hand or to use the output I provide to you. Let me go over the first problem. We had first problem, breast cancer and breastfeeding, and the output you see the cells 1 and cells 4. These are the cells 1 and cells 4 uh, information, and and I ask you to the first problem, expected value cell 1 and 4, which is the second value 340 and 90 is the answer. And then the chi-square value from output is 52.29. I rounded up. And what is the type of chi-square? Is an independent test because we have two factors or variables and in one sample. Now, the conclusion here, because your p-value here is less than 0.001, is, or your chi-square value from table, if you look at for 1 degree freedom is 3.84, and your chi-square value is 52.29, is much greater than from table. You sort of you reject the null, and you would say there is association. So you use either p-value or the chi-square from table, but obviously from table you would see that with 1 degree freedom chi-square, your chi-square is much larger than the one we have here. So this is the way you do it by hand. You're using the marginal for cell row and the column divided by 1000. You get those. We get the expected value. Then the chi-square value you observe minus expected square and divided by the expected as the formula. You add it up and that is your chi-square value. Again, at alpha 0.01 is 6.635, the chi-square value from table, and here 52 is much greater than, so you reject the null and conclude the alternative. So now the second question is similar to that, but here we have two groups. Again, I ask you cells 2, 3 expected value is 72.5 and 2.75 is the correct answer, and chi-square value is 0.63. And here, since you have two population or two group, this is homogeneity test and not independent test. And can we conclude that again at alpha 0.05? So when you look at the chi-square value in table with 1 degree freedom is 3.84, you would say no, because your chi-square value 0.63 is less than 3.84. Again, the same way you use the marginal number for row and column divided by total, you get the expected for each cell, and you calculate the chi-square value. Again, 3.841 is the value from table, and you compare your test statistics to that, which is less, then you fail to reject. The problem 3, again, we assume, we believe the percentage of breastfeeding in the population is 70%, no breastfeeding 30%. We wanted to whether the observed proportion from our sample problem 1 different significant from this hypothesis. So here is your chi-square value 47.61 and the p-value is 0.0001. And since your chi-square value is, or your p-value is less than alpha, you would say yes, the result indicate the percentage breastfeeding of samples different significantly from the hypothesis one. Now, the problem for we had before and after for quitting smoking, time 1 and time 2. I asked you to calculate the chi-square value is McNemar test. So basically N1 and 2 is your 50. This is the 50 because your N11, N12, and then N21 is 30. So basically you plug in the formula 30 minus 50 minus 30 or squared divided by 50 plus 30, you get 5, the correct answer. And type of chi-square test in this problem is McNemar test. Now again, you do you have enough evidence to decide the proportion of quitting smoking change over time? Alpha 0.05. Again, you find your critical value with 1 degree freedom from chi-square table, which is 3.84, and since 5 is greater than 3.841, you reject the correct answer with yes. And using factor related to College Woman article, the what is a statistical test in table 1 was chi-square, and what were significant, both variable rates and alcohol use was significant. What is the p-value for working status is 0.6. Again, that is the 0.6. Looking at the article and table 1. Here is table 1. If you look at the p here, working status is indicate the p-value, and so that 0.06 comes from here and was homogeneous or independent, and that was independent test. So, and remember both race both race and alcohol use, the p-value was 0.001. That was the reason we put significant at alpha 0.05. I hope this solution helped you to understand better the content.